morning. How is everyone doing this morning? I am due for decorating these platters. Sorry for the echo. That should fix that. So, platters for the holidays. They are coming no matter what the situation is. It's still okay to serve yourself in a platter. Good morning, Charles. Haven't seen you in a while. How's the weaving coming along? So, you have not started weaving yet? Been busy? Yeah, it takes time to get into the zone. I was so much in the zone of weaving that now I'm kind of a little bit out of it. Not really, it's just something else has taken over, which is quilting. Not really taken over, but at least for the time being, I pulled out my sewing machine and have been doing some projects on that. And it is with the intention that I get familiar with using my sewing machine. So maybe I can sew my woven fabrics together at some point. So it would be nice if I can actually sew things together. So kind of started with that thought, but then I'm like, well, there's very little stuff you can just practice for the sake of practicing. So I'm like, let's try making quilts. And then that just turned into a little bit of a rabbit hole. Not much, a little bit. The slip is just a little bit on the thicker side. I wish it was a little bit thinner, it would just flow a little bit more easily. It's not bad, it's just, you know, I have to move my hands a little slower if I want a certain thickness. I'm not covering the I'm not covering the decoration when I bend over and decorate, because when I'm decorating I cannot see what I'm doing. Oh, thank you, Victoria. You just see the back of the hand? Okay, that's good to know. Let me turn the camera, because I think if I do turn the camera on the other side, because I was thinking that that might kind of flip things around a little bit. Let's try this. If you're on this side, so sorry for the camera shakes. That's bound to happen. Okay, maybe this side will be better, you think? So let's try this. Okay, well, on the very corner, the handle will probably cover the decoration part, but hopefully. Is that better? I guess it is better, right? Because now my hand is not covering what I'm doing. Uh, you plan, and then it's like, oops, wrong angle. Cool. So that one is all done. That's the decoration on that. It's one of my favorite designs to do. So these are going to be platters, great for serving. Do you still do more daytime live than evening? Hard to watch when you're busy with virtual classroom during the day. I imagine. I have been doing actually this last week. I haven't done a whole lot of live. Means I think I did 2 or 3 sessions throughout the week, and there were some knitting sessions, and they were much later in the night. I actually haven't been working much in the clay studio. Means I have been working, but it was just like making mugs and stuff, and it was like trying to get stuff done. So, and the camera and everything was set up upstairs. So I was just feeling very lazy to come down, set up the cameras, and then I'm like, I'll spend half an hour doing that, but I have so much work to get done. So I would just come into the studio and just make my mugs and be done with it. And then I thought that, well, who wants to see me making mugs over and over? But I still do have mugs to make. I did make these. I was gonna go live, decorate, I mean, painting them and stuff. I said, no, when I decorate, I will do it. So I'm here today. But what time do you prefer? Daytime, I guess, is hard because you have virtual classrooms. Evenings are pretty exhausting for me usually. So, oh, it's a state holiday. That's cool. But yeah, evenings I'm usually burnt out, and if I'm doing anything, it's usually just knitting or weaving and something like that. It's my downtime. So that's another time when I can go live, but then I don't go live in the clay studio with that. I don't think I've gone live in the clay studio in the evenings. It's usually been during the daytime. Because for the clay work, I kind of do prefer uh, working in the daytime. So you can see I just draw all the lines freehand. They're not necessarily parallel, or not every square is the same size. Doesn't matter. There might be some blips in the lines as well. It just adds a lot of character to the work. So I don't fix that. I just let that be. At the end, it all just magically comes together. It's not that those lines will disappear, they still stay there, but I don't go back and clean them up or anything. It kind of makes these nice references almost to that the piece was handmade. So, not looking for total perfection. No line there. Okay. Should I add dots in the other direction too? No, I think this looks good. I like it like this. Sometimes it's good to stop at a certain time. So that's that one. So So I have made 8 platters in all. Out of these 8, 4 are for orders and 4 are backups. But hopefully they'll all turn out fine and we'll be good. I almost have started seeing this as making quilt patterns now. Now that I've been looking at so many quilt patterns, it's almost like influencing how these patterns turn out. So I'm purposely making like curved lines here. Yeah, like that. And then these spaces, I think I'll fill it up with straight lines. Well, kind of straight lines. Let's not get carried away. And when the slip does dry up a little bit, I'm going to flatten it down. So it's not going to be like completely flat. It's going to still have a lot of its texture. It's just that the high points where I lift my tool, it kind of creates a sharp point. I kind of don't want that in the finished piece because then it's a rough surface. So that's basically the areas that are going to be cleaned up. They'll be just smoothened down basically. Nothing really special. But that can happen only when the slip is dry enough that it doesn't get squished. But if it becomes too dry, then I have passed my window for when I can do it. Okay, so that's platter number 3. So the order is actually for 2 red, uh, 1 blue, and 1 black one. So I would like to make at least those different and then do another set that's different. So we'll see. I'm not following any particular order or anything. I'm kind of figuring out what to do. uh, what should I do? Okay, let's try this. Oh, Charlie, I did send you the picture of the mug, right? That I made, the woven mug for the blue and honey glaze you had requested. So that one is done, and whenever you're ready, you can place your order on the website. Get your Patreon discount. See how it magically just transforms the pattern once you start emphasizing certain areas or fill them up. It's so much like doodling and doing Zen tangles, I guess, which is what people used to say when they saw my work. They're like, "Oh, you're doing Zen tangles." I said, "I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing what feels right to me." Yeah, so that mug is ready. So there are honey woven mugs which are listed on my website. You can just place an order for that, and I will ship you that particular one because I know who you are and I know what you requested. You will not get the honey and red one. All right. Arches of the Golden Gate Bridge. It does, right? It's weird where, how some patterns are thought of in my head and how they appear. Yeah. I think I'll do this one with swirls as well. I do like the swirls on the blue and green, so I might do that on this one. But maybe I'll do small, tiny swirls. How about that? I kind of do them randomly. Well, random is a pattern. Nothing is really random, that's for sure. Some really small and tight curves. That's all. If it doesn't flow out smoothly, which is mostly happening because my slip is a little on the thicker side, and I think I'm going to thin it out when I go to refill and make another cone. But for now, I can make this work. I think I'm making a mess. So when it becomes too messy, then I kind of need to contemplate whether do I need to leave it there? Should I fix it? For now, I'm going to leave it, and we'll see what we can do. So the thickness of the slip really dictates as to how quick I can move my hand. Because I want to move my hand faster, but when the slip is so thick, I really cannot. I have to move a lot slower. And some patterns I like to do them slow, but some patterns look better when my hand moves faster. I get smoother lines. So it's really a matter of preference. So I've got that, and now you can see there are some of these which are not that pretty out there. But what I hope is I will add some dishes and dashes here. So it will not be that obvious. See, if it had all turned out just perfect, then I wouldn't have done this variation. But that's the reason why I like to leave those imperfections in them, because they lead to making them, you know, making new patterns, which otherwise, if you just pre plan too much, it doesn't happen. So now that particular area is going to be fine when I smoothen it out and everything, it will all just be fine. Yeah, I'm leaving it. I always leave it. I don't correct these things. And the person who will eventually get this dish, right? I always have this feeling that, at least in my head, it's like when you're looking at a piece, at first glance, you're like, oh, beautiful, perfect pattern, no flaws, such flawless work, and all of that. And then, throughout time, whenever they have used the dish a few times, they just keep staring at it for longer, or when they wash it by hand, they kind of start noticing these small things in it. They're like, oh, look at that, that circle is not that perfectly circled. I bet his dog bumped him while doing it. And all those stories get connected to the pieces, which I think makes the pieces a lot more special. It doesn't happen otherwise with commercially made perfect work. So, so yeah, I really like it. Now it's more complex. It's more you know randomized. This was the one that was like the one which caused me to make it a lot more complex. But once I flatten this pattern out, that's it's not going to be visible. It'll be hard to tell on the finished piece where that happened. So another one. So this time let's go a little simpler. It's one of my fastest designs to do, and it's one of my most popular ones. And looks like the feather and fan pattern, right? In knitting, for all you knitting folks out there. does eat up a lot of slip though. But it's a very satisfying result. So we are going to keep it as it is. And I usually do this pattern towards the end of my thing because I'm tired, or you know, not that I'm tired, but it's like it's a little more relaxing to do. It goes a lot faster than the other patterns. So there we go. How do I flatten the slip? I use my roller, and so once that is dry, and right now the slip is too wet, so I can't show you, but once it's dry, I just kind of roll it with this, and very lightly. I don't like push it down or anything. It's just very slight, so the high bumps kind of just flatten a little bit, and all those uneven marks that I have, they all get disappeared. Hey Wendy, hope you're doing better today. So, give you a view of all the other platters that are decorated. There you go. You can see the other ones back there. It's been a decorating platters. It's holidays are coming. You need to be ready for this stuff, right? Okay, I need another pattern now to do. I didn't toss it. Okay, let me do another one with straight lines. Wendy, it's weird that this is all reminding me of quilting after looking at quilting blocks and how pieces are put together. Isn't it weird how things just transform from one thing to another? Snowflakes. Gosh. Okay, after this one, I have one last one left. Snowflakes will happen then. How about that? Jeez, I'm also running out of slip here. Not on this one. This one I'm not doing snowflakes. The other one is red in color, so it would be Christmassy with red and golden platter with snowflakes on it. Can look festive. Crafty crossover synergies. Exactly. That's what this is all about. So I'm just going to keep this one a little simple with dots. You can see when I start off, I do the more complex patterns and then I move on to a little simpler ones. Boy, it's windy outside today. While I'm doing this, I'm thinking how am I going to do a snowflake-like pattern. It's not going to be symmetrical. Snowflakes in Seattle and Federal Way. Yeah, we can just do clay snowflakes. Boy, I don't want snow this year. Well, I don't want snow any year. But this year, actually, maybe it might be fine. We are not going anywhere. I know, like in previous years when it has snowed and I have like a show scheduled, Rima has to go to work. It's just so stressful knowing that, oh, we might be stuck in the snow somewhere, or traffic and all of that, because nobody knows how to drive in the snow here, including myself. or just blaming the others. I don't. I've never driven in the snow. So, rain I can handle. Snow, not so much. Though I even don't like riding in the rain. So, alright, that one is done. Last one. Well, I have one big platter and one tiny bit, which was a little leftover piece. I'm wondering if I should try the snowflakes on that, or should I just dive into this with snowflakes? How do I do snowflakes? Okay, let's. Do I want to do it that way? Let me see. Charles, you and your ideas. Okay, so it's not exactly snowflake. Let's, if you can see, let's put it up here. See, the slip is too thick actually. It's not flowing. So for a pattern like this, I would really want it to flow very smoothly, and it is not. Not that it's ruined. It's going to be kind of a very weird flowery shape, not a snowflake. See, I have to go really slow, then I can get it more precise, and I don't like to go slow in a pattern like this. The reason I have to go slow is because this stupid slip is too thick. I should have thinned it down. So it's more like flowers than snowflakes. So how many sides does a snowflake have? 6? Mine has 8. That one is turning out weird. We will see. No, those first two are really ugly. This might be a time when I actually redo this. It's my slip too. It's just not behaving. So we just clean it up. Isn't that fun? Not working out. Not every pattern works out perfectly. So I will need to repaint this, which I'll do right now. Need to get my brush here. Yeah, so no 8 is happening. No 8 is happening. No 6 is happening. The whole thing is getting redone. And at this stage, it's not a problem to redo it. I have very rarely done it. It's usually when I'm trying to just take requests of some weird pattern which I don't know how to do, and my slip is not the perfect consistency. That's when I land up into trouble. But it's not a problem. I might have to wait a little bit till this the underglaze dries up so that I can actually redo it. But I'm not going to do snowflakes. Come up with something more interesting. I wasn't even taking requests, Charlie. Charles, sorry. I don't know why I called you Charlie. Mm, there. Yeah, snowflakes would have sharper points, that's for sure. And my slip was moving. So to make sharper points, I would be moving my tool a lot faster. And like I said, my slip was so thick I couldn't move that tool fast enough. It was not making a continuous line. So if my slip was thinner, I could manage to do that. But now I have just this splatter and one small one to do, and I don't feel like filling up a whole cone just for two pieces. So let me see, in this small little piece, I should have tried on this, right? I'm gonna try something snowflake like. Let's see if it works on this. So you have to move my hand really quickly for something like that, and that's what is being a little problematic. Kind of snowflakey. Actually, I like this. Kind of do some half snowflakes out here. And quarter snowflakes out here. There. Christmassy enough? Does that work? Okay. Now I know this is too wet actually for me to decorate, but I'm tempted to decorate and be done. I shouldn't. I really, really shouldn't. But then I'll be done. I just need a different kind of pattern. Oh, I know. And I haven't done that. Should I do that? Mm, thinner slip. Oh, yeah, I guess that's the right thing to do. Let's see. Let me see if I can thin down my slips here. All right, water has been added. Okay, I think this is going to be better. So let's try. I'm going to make a big cone with it because I just have this one platter to finish. I'm also almost out of my mylar cones. I need to make some more. No, blow dryer is not the best thing when it comes to working with slip and clay, because what happens is that the means it can kind of I have slip all over my face. Thank God you cannot see that, but it's fine. Yeah, so what happens if you blow dry it just to dry it up quickly is the slip might not adhere as well. It just creates a difference in the surface, because then the top surface a little too dry but the beneath surface is still wet. So when it dries, it shrinks at different rates and the slip will not stick. Ask me how I know. I actually had tried that once. You just need to try these things once to know that they don't work. Okay, this is one of my very old combs made, and the, the line is so thick. But I'm sure this is going to flow very smooth. See, when you thin down the slip, it just makes it a very easy flow. I'm doing a very complex pattern. Just going to make some straight lines with some textured lines. This is one of those patterns in which I don't have to drag my tool on the surface. So even if the underglaze is a little wet, I can get away with it. I wonder what that small tray would look like with a light coat of the red over the slip pattern. It would look, it wouldn't look bad. The thing is, because the underlying pattern is black in that, the black is very empowering. So even if I do put a red overglaze over it, even if the red remains, in the firing, after it gets glazed and everything, that red will disappear because that black will just take over. You might get a little bit of a hint of red here and there, but uh, I doubt it. I've noticed that with black that the black underglaze I have. There is another black underglaze I've used with which it's a little bit better, but usually the black just takes over. It would have worked better in a different situation where if it was red and I had done the white and then done a black over and wiped off the black, that would have been better. Uh, but if the black is underneath, it consumes whichever color you put on top. It's weird. I had actually planned, this was last year's experimentation, planning a exclusive one of a kind collection with someone to match. I'm not going to mention who it is, to match their colors and everything in fiber and yarn and everything. And I made several tests and we're trying to duplicate that kind of look with a black underneath. It just wouldn't work. Yeah, I'm talking about a red underglaze. If there's black underneath, the red, even if I put it on top, it's going to turn into like almost a black with just a hint of red on it. It's not going to be a bright red. Like I'll have to remove some of the black from underneath in order for that red to show up. It is weird that way. But all of these guys are done. Let me see. I can show you the mess in my studio. It's not a mess, it's clay work. This is the way it is. But those all are done. I'm gonna wait for them to dry up a little bit, and then I'm going to flatten that texture a little bit so it's not, scratchy and pokey and too textured, because you want it functional for food, for cleaning, and all those purposes. So all of that will happen. Four of these are for orders. The other four I need to add to the shop since it's holiday season. Not a bad time to, you know, decorate with some flair. Even if it's just one person or two people or how many ever people you are at home, you know, have fun. Holidays are here. We have done enough sulking for the whole year, and we have the elections coming up. So the small one is not for an order, no. It's just I'm just making it because so when I extrude these, if there is still some clay left in the extruder, I just extrude whatever is left, and then that's just a byproduct. If you're interested in it, of course, it's going to be available for sale. That one, I think I would sell for like 25 bucks. And those are the kind of pieces which actually sell, are the first ones to go at shows. Um, and because I don't show them on websites and things like that, because it's not a stock product or anything, because if I do list it on the website, there'll always be that person who'll say like, oh, can I have more of those? And then, well, you could, but it takes a long time to make and plan. And but at a show, usually people's eye goes directly to a red underglaze to it. You definitely want the red underglaze on it. Okay. So the way the red underglaze works is I'm going to wait for the first firing. It's going to get fired with the black now, because now if I put the red, nothing is going to happen. It's it's just going to be on top and not work. But after I have misfired it, then I'll put the red underglaze over it, and I'm going to wipe the red underglaze so that it kind of gets concentrated in some of the crevices and the texture of that. And then I'm going to glaze it with the honey glaze on top. Does that sound good? That might, I think, still give hints of red in the texture. Yeah, that that might be one of the options. So what's gonna happen essentially is it's after the first firing, I will, so I can kind of even, well, it's still a little bit on the wetter side. But like right now, if you put red over it, it'll just be a full solid red like you saw me painting earlier. So once it's fired, the black becomes permanent. It's not gonna wipe off. I can put red. If I don't think it's strong enough, I can put another layer of red, wipe off, put another layer of red, wipe off, and kind of play around with it and then see how it lands up. So it might not be, see, these kinds of pieces are good for experimentation as well. So I might as well try it. I have a feeling it's still going to be so black centric that it the red might not be there, but there will be hints of it for sure. So which might not be a bad look. So we'll try that. So there, that goes there. Alright, so I have this. Today I need to make mugs as well, but I did want to get the decoration of this out of the way so I can keep them aside and then start working on the mugs. So, okay, Charles, I will try that. I'll let you know how the results come out. Um, And yeah, for your woven mug, you can either place that order, or if you'd be interested in this when it comes out, let me know. And maybe I can ship them together, save on shipping. My shipping has gotten so much more expensive than I realized. I had not changed my shipping prices in a while, but I looked up and I was paying out of my pocket for some of the stuff. So at some point, I need to go ahead and revise my shipping as well, which is very difficult. It's not so straightforward as one might think. All right, yeah, wait. Your honey mug is still staying here, so no worries about that. So I will take a break. I'm. It's. Is it close to lunchtime? No, it's only 11, and I'm hungry. But maybe I will eat something, and then I need to get into some mug making. All right. Thank you for joining in, and I will see you later. Bye.